Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Alicia, and in today's video, I am super excited because we are going to be talking all about eyeshadow palettes. There was an eyeshadow palette tag created by Samantha March and Allie Glines. I will have their videos linked down below. They are two of my favorite YouTubers. I have been watching both of them for years. But yeah, I feel like I could have a whole channel like specifically dedicated to eyeshadow palettes. So I did not do the first tag. When the second one came around, I definitely wanted to jump in on it. And I have got stacks of eyeshadow palettes sitting in front of me now. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, anything that I can in this video, I will have linked down below. Some of these things are not for sale anymore, and I can't really help that. But I tried to answer as specifically as possible. Again, because I did not do that first eyeshadow palette tag, I included kind of like my answer for the question, and then I kind of included like some extras as well, just some little bonus items for you guys. So the first question is, what is your all-time favorite eyeshadow palette? And I have two answers. Let me grab them. All right, my first and foremost favorite is the Jeffree Star Alien eyeshadow palette. I love this palette. I got this actually after it was released. I went and seeked this palette out online, basically is what I'm saying. But I love this palette so much. I love the design. I've told you guys, if you're familiar with my channel, I'm such like a space nerd. I love neutral eyeshadows, like everyday colors, and I love purples and greens. And this is exactly that palette. So it is everything. I love it so much. I love all of the details that are included with this palette. I mean, you've got abduction, UFO, flying saucer, phone home, moon rock, X-Files, space cowboy, Area 51. Like, I love the names. I love the design. I love the color story. Literally everything about this palette other than its shape, I love. But I even love the shape, and I will put up with storing this because it's a freaking alien. So cute. Love it so much. You cannot get that one anymore. Unfortunately, another one of my favorites you can't currently get anymore either. I mean, you can still find this online. I'm sure both of these you can still find online, but they're not like actively selling this in stores. This is the Marc Jacobs, and this is the one in Glambition. This is probably the most like everyday of the Marc Jacob palettes that I have. However, there is something special about these shades. They're effortless. Like, they blend beautifully. They work amazing. But there's something about like the shimmers as well in here. When you put them on your eye, it just looks so elegant and creamy and buttery, smoothing. Like, I love this palette. It is a great, great everyday palette, and I should use it more. All right, the next question was, what is a new favorite? And this one I actually tried out really recently. This is the ABH. This is the Primrose palette. Looking at pictures online, I wasn't even going to pick this up, but seeing it in person, it is so gorgeous. I think this is such like a sexy type of a palette. I think this gives me like serious, like when you put this on, I feel like it is like bedroom type eye vibes. I absolutely love this palette. I think it is so beautiful and really refreshing to come from Anastasia. But yeah, I love this one so, so much. If you are interested in this eye look as well, I did a full face of Huda Beauty, and that is where this eye look is coming from. So be on the lookout for that in my channel. Next question. What palette do you keep only for the memories? All right. Palette that I keep just for the memories, I would say, is Wet n Wild Comfort Zone. And as you can tell, this is like the OG I love this palette so much. Whenever I first started getting back into makeup, that's whenever this was like so big on YouTube. There was a period where I wasn't even really doing my makeup. That's like after I had my first child. I was very young whenever I had my daughter, and I wanted to do everything myself. I wanted no help from anyone, period, for anything. And so I put all of my focus into that. So it was a while that I went without wearing makeup. And when I came back, this was like heavy on the market. So of course I picked it up. There are just some gorgeous shades in here. I'm just going to swatch 3 of these, but the quality on this palette too, again, I think this was like maybe $4 or $5.99 whenever I purchased it. I mean, look at these shades. Look, this shade was so ahead of its time, am I right? I feel like so many companies have tried to dupe that shade, this definer shade in here from this palette. But yeah, I love this palette so much. I will never get rid of this OG Comfort Zone palette. All right, another bonus one that I'm going to throw in is one from Fiona Styles. And this I picked up from Ulta forever ago. Fiona Styles is a makeup artist. This is a big ass palette, but I swear I will never get rid of this just because of the memories that I have attached with it. This is the Mistake Free Eye and Face Contouring Palette. This is what it looks like inside. This is like a full face palette, which I love. But my first like real accounting job that I had was in like downtown-ish Columbia area, pretty far away from my house, like 35-40 minutes. And I just remember putting this in my lap whenever I was driving, and I would do my whole face of makeup from after I dropped my kids off from school, like to work. And it was just, I was working crazy hours during that time. I was really putting in the work and like just learning so much as far as accounting goes. And yeah, it just, I don't know. It wasn't the best of memories, to be honest with you. It was like a really kind of hard time in my life, but I don't know. I love this palette so much. And that is really where like my whole career stemmed from there, and like my work ethic and all of that stuff really just stemmed from there. And I really had to learn a lot on my own. So it really just helped me as a person in general. Kind of instill that in myself, like learning on my own and being able to grow on my own without somebody pushing me. And yeah, I really love this palette for that. All right, next up was what palette do I think is underrated? And honestly, I didn't even have to think about this one. It came to me immediately, and that was the KKW Beauty. I don't ever hear anybody talking about this, but these are some of my favorite eyeshadow palettes. Now, I will say if you've got 1 or 2, you're probably good, because as you will see, I have 2 palettes here. This is the Classic and this is the Classic Blossom. As you can tell, there are kind of a lot of the same type of shades repeated. This one is definitely more plum, and this is more of like on the bronzy spectrum. But as you can tell, the transition shades, some of those are repeated and things like that. And if you've got several of her palettes, that is typically how it tends to go. But these 2 perform so well. The perfect everyday eyeshadow palettes. I love both of these so much. They are so easy to use, and I really feel like her brand in general is kind of catered to like the everyday woman, like somebody that just wants to look glamorous but without having a ton of effort and just get out the door. So these wear well, super easy to work with. They don't break the bank either. Love just the simple packaging, super easy to store. I have no complaints when it comes to the KKW Beauty eyeshadow palettes. All right, I also did not have to think about this next question. It was, what is not your favorite palette, but one that you can't get rid of? And this one, again, it immediately came to mind. It is the Makeup Revolution and Emily Noel collab, and it's called the Wants palette. Now, I love Emily Noel. She, again, like when I started getting back into makeup, she is one YouTuber that I watched all the time. I learned so much from. I love a lot of her like speed reviews, like way back in the day, when she lived in an apartment by herself. It was like pink walls. I remember that. But or like burgundy, not pink. It was like burgundy walls in there. But anyway, I've been watching her forever. And so I just love her. And I love all of these colors in here. You can do so much with this eyeshadow palette. I love, again, the purples and the greens and the plums. Love these like hunter greens up here. This is just such a nicely done palette, very well thought out. Love all of these colors. I love the names of these as well. Like she's got hobby, prayer, grateful, good vibes. She's got her children's names in here. I love this purple. This is Belle Violet. Then you've got Eve Rose. Those are her daughter's names. I think now she has another child as well, but I love Capricorn. I love this pie-fi color. It is like a nice dark plum. Anyway, you get my drift. This color story is absolutely amazing. Having said that, this is big, bulky packaging. Like I have to make a conscious effort to take this out and use it just because it is kind of awkward to use a palette that is this big. And Makeup Revolution, their eyeshadow palettes are hit and miss. You've got some winter shades in here, but I also have some that I don't tend to like that much in this palette. But it is a good one, and like I said, I love Emily Noel. I will never get rid of this palette. I forgot to mention one in a prior question, and that was, this is another one that I keep just for the memories. I should have included that in this section, but this was just another bonus one. This is one from Hip Dot that came out like last year in 2021, and I just think this is one of the cutest palettes. It's definitely one of the most unique in my collection. It's like furry. You've got your little pins in here. They also sold additional pins that you could get and put on your palette. But you open it up. It's got this little mirror that says Total Betty. Here's my notes. But yeah, I love the eyeshadow palettes. I love the eyeshadow names in here as well. You've got Botticelli, Full On Monet, The Valley Homies, Totally Paws, whatever, Dollface. I mean, this is just, I love this movie. I grew up with the Clueless movie, so this just struck a chord with me, and I really do like this palette. I like the quality of the eyeshadows in here, and yeah, I really do like this one, and I will never get rid of it. All right, now, moving right along. This one was really hard, like really hard, and it was called, this question is, what was your favorite collab? There have been a ton of collaborations. I'm going to tell you like my favorite one, and then I'm going to give several honorable mentions because there's just too many good ones. I would definitely say probably my favorite is the ABH and Jackie Aina palette. This one is so good. I think this came out early 2021. I think it might have been in 2020, but this is the color story here, and it is just beautiful. These perform so good. This is so freaking creamy. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, these are just ridiculous. I'm going to give you guys some swatches. I mean, absolutely gorgeous. If you can still get your hands on this, I highly recommend it. Speaking of ABH, another collab that all of these other ones are just going to be honorable mentions now, but another one from ABH that I love is the Amrezy. Love this packaging. Absolutely gorgeous. And then you open this up and just a magical girly dream. This Barb shade, I can tell you, I know specifically that shade is in this palette. I will find this palette in my collection just to use it for that Barb shade. This palette in general, though, is so beautiful. I love this purple. This is like a pressed glitter, so I'm not really that keen on this one, but this Georgina shade is gorgeous as well. I have used that one. Love these like hot pinks over there. This is a really, really good one. Another one of my like tippy top favorites is from ColourPop, and this was when they collabed with Raw Christy Beauty. This is the At Forest Sight palette. Beautiful packaging. Again, I love all the little mushroom details on here. And then you open it up, there is no mirror, but that is perfectly fine with me. You have got this grungy goodness eyeshadow palette in here. You have only got 2 shimmers. The rest of this is matte. You can do so much with this eyeshadow palette. Love it so much. Love the quality, love the shades, love the theme, everything about this. Love the price point. Fire collab. Another one, and I think you can still get your hands on this. This is one, again, I heard nobody mention this, but this is one of my favorites. I love this collab. I don't even know who Lele Pons is. Honestly, when I did that video, I had to look her up because I wasn't familiar with her. All I know is that she's like Instagram famous, I guess. But this color story, this is what does it for me. This is perfect. This is absolutely perfect for every day. This highlighter is gorgeous. The blush, effortless, peachy, wonderful, neutral, everyday shade. And then you have got these 9 eyeshadows. If you just use these 2, gorgeous eyeshadow look. But all of these work so well together. This palette smells like chocolate. I love it so much. You've got a nice mirror in here. I think it normally would retail for like $40, and I believe I got it for $20 when I purchased it forever ago. So again, I don't know if you can still get your hands on this. If you can, highly recommend. This is a really, really good one, and it's that Tarte Amazonian clay formula, so it really lasts like forever on your face. And last up, of course, I had to mention this one. This is the Desi and Katie Dose of Colors Friendcation palette. Gorgeous packaging, equally gorgeous color story. You can really like mix and match these colors. You can build them on top of one another and create your custom colors. But yes, this is such a gorgeous eyeshadow palette. Here are some of the shades here. I really want to do like a blue smoky eye with this, but yeah, let me just kind of, oh my god, look at that. So pretty. All right, 100 years later. Now we will go ahead and move on to favorite palette of 2021. Now, I don't know if this is cheating, but honestly, this is the palette that came to mind. So this is what I am bringing up, and this is the Charlotte Tilbury Look of Love face palette. I have mine in the shade Pretty Blushed Beauty. There were 2 different variations. That is the one that I got. It is the lighter of the 2. But as you can tell, I have used the absolute shit out of this palette. I got this last year and I used it basically completely up within a few months. I was using this every single day. Hit pan in this eyeshadow shade, which I never hit pan in eyeshadows. This is pretty close to hitting pan as well. Like, I would not be surprised if the next like 1 or 2 times I use this, it hit pan. But yeah, this was like a powder, blush, highlighter, bronzer, and then 3 eyeshadow shades. And it is absolutely gorgeous. My daughter has one of these, and I keep telling her, if you don't start using that, it's going to disappear, because this is such a good palette. I still may pick up another one of these. But yeah, this is definitely my favorite of 2021. It was the first one that came to mind. I did not have to think about it. All right, now in the category didn't expect to love, I have 2. I'll give you like the winner, and then I'm gonna give you like a bonus one as well. This I did not really expect to like as much as I did. This is the Buxom and Ash K Home palette. This is the first collab I believe that Buxom has ever done. And I believe this released in 2021. I do have a recent video actually testing this out. But Ash K. Holm is a celebrity makeup artist. She does makeup for, I think, Ariana Grande, the Kardashian sisters, I'm sure others. But this is what this palette looks like here, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So from here to here, of course, you've got just a very neutral, everyday type of a palette. And then you have got just some fun jewel tone pops down here. You can do a gorgeous smoky eye, which that is what I did when I tested this palette out. I've used it since then. This is really, really good quality, and yeah, I did not expect to love it as much as I do. Also, one that I tried recently, and I was just blown away with this palette. This is the Too Faced, this is the Too Faced The Natural Nudes palette, and I like Too Faced. I really love all of their tin packaging. This was not in the tin packaging. I didn't know really what to expect as far as the formula goes, but I will say the formula on this eyeshadow palette is like second to none. Every single shade in here swatches amazing. These perform amazing as well. So easy to use. Gorgeous, like effortless eyes. This screams like bridal to me. I absolutely love this palette. And yeah, I like Too Faced. You know, I'm a fan of that brand in general. I didn't expect to love this one as much as I did. And so that's why this is an honorable mention. All right. Next up is another one that I did not have to think about at all. And that is a palette that sparks joy. So I pulled out my favorite palette that I've never used, and that is the Lunar Beauty Moonspell palette. I need to use this palette. I don't know what is wrong with me. I love it so much though, and I hold it so dear that I don't want anything to happen to it. First off, look at this packaging for one. Absolutely gorgeous. This is like raised so you can feel this little lock here. The detailing on this is amazing. And then you open up your little spell book, if you will, and you have got this beautiful, like witchy type of a color story here. I love it so much. Again, greens and purples, you had me there. But then you also have this like neutral row, everything that I love in a palette. And then as well, I told you guys that I love like horror themed things. And this has got like different shade names of witches in, you know, pop culture and movies and things like that. So you've got Winifred, Sarah, Mary, you've got Phoebe, you've got Sabrina, Marnie and Bonnie, you got Hermione. I mean, this is just amazing. Everything all the way around. I have tried Lunar Beauty's eyeshadow formula, obviously. I think I have pretty much all of his palettes, except that the newest one that he came out with, which is like the Extra Dimension palette or something like that, like the face palette. I don't have that one yet, but yeah, I don't know what's on here. But this is, I love the presentation. Everything about this, I love. Love, love, love. So happy he came out with a volume 2. I do have that one as well. I have used that one surprisingly, even though I haven't used the first one. And if he comes out with those like every few years, that would be like ideal. And I would pick up every single one. Newest palette to my collection. It's a tie because they came at the same time. They came in the same box. But I picked up 2 palettes from Ace Beauté. And I picked up the Classical Paradise as well as the Paradise Fallen. I just love Ace Beauté's formula. I think they're not talked about enough, to be honest with you. They're such good formulas. I'm going to take these out just so you guys can get a look at them. But I do plan on doing dedicated videos with these palettes. So first off, I'm going to show you the Paradise Fallen. Again, I said that I love purples and greens. This is, I think, the perfect purple palette. I don't think you need another purple palette if you have this one. I love the grays in here as well. So gorgeous. And again, Ace Beauté formulas, when I have used them in the past, they are just phenomenal. Then you've got the Classical Paradise. And this is what that one looks like. Beautiful, like grungy fall type of palette. Love the greens mixed with the plums and the burgundies. It is just gorgeous and I love it so much. And sadly, I think we are on our last question now. And this is the first palette that you used in 2022. And for me, that would be the BH Cosmetics. This is the Love in London palette. I did like a full face drugstore tutorial. I will have that link down below, as well as if I have any videos with any of these products, I will have those linked down below. So be sure to check that out. But I love BH Cosmetics. Honestly, this palette, out of the ones that I have tried from them, this is probably like the most lackluster, but I think it's just because of the color story, to be honest with you. Their formula is amazing. If you are looking for a good, actually a great eyeshadow formula at the drugstore, BH Cosmetics is so good, and they're also very cost effective. I think if you find a color story that you like, you can't go wrong. But yeah, this is the first palette that I used. All right, guys, so that completes the eyeshadow palette tag number 2. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you have a channel, I would love to see what you select from these as well. I will have the questions listed down below. Hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you in my next one. Bye, guys.